Yeah. And so you're wearing green today, and obviously the podcast is Empower Her Money. Talk a little bit about the behind the scenes and how a TV show gets funded so that you can do what you're doing.
Oh, well, that's a fun one. So there's a lot of ways to, I guess they call skin the cat, even though I'm a cat lady, I probably shouldn't use that phrase, um, but there's a lot of ways. So me personally, I'm a sponsorship driven show.
Welcome, Christine from Dining Divas. Welcome to Empower Her Money podcast. How are you?
Awesome. Awesome. Doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining today. I would love for you to kind of start off with your story, your journey, and how you got to what you're doing today.
All right, let me give you the short version. So I'm born and raised in South Florida, obviously a very creative area. And although I was a full paid scholarship student, I just didn't really feel like I wanted to do like a 9 to 5 job. And I also had a baby very young when I was 17. So I skipped a grade and I went to college really, really young. So at 16, I started college. So when I had my baby, I decided, you know what, I want to do something really fun with my life if I'm going to raise a child. And I was already modeling and acting part-time in college, and I just kind of went full force on it. Ended up starting my own company, Fort Lauderdale Entertainment, had that for about 13 years. And I booked other models for fashion shows, music videos, TV, all the fun things. And then my famous Jello Shop Girls, which I made a lot of money in my 20s and lived a good life. And at the same time, I was interviewing celebrities on the red carpet, and I really liked TV production. I decided I wanted to, it doesn't really monetize interviewing celebrities. So I'm like, how do I build $1 billion brand? And that's when I decided to do Dining Divas. I really wanted to work with like-minded women and collaborate instead of being the boss, because I had over 800 women work for me and I was always the boss, which I didn't mind that the girls were all single moms too and going to college and all those great things. But I just felt like I wanted to elevate with like-minded women that were more my peers. So I brought different women from different backgrounds and ethnicities together to bring more diversity to the foodie world, because there's a lack of it. And we've just, been rolling ever since.
That's awesome. So yeah, so talk about a little bit why you decided to kind of launch Dining Divas, and what was, because a lot of people see it as a TV show, but there's a business behind it and it takes a ton of work. So kind of touch on a little bit about how you're, going through and navigating that.
Oh man, it's like going through a forest, you never know what's going to go behind the next tree, right? It's so much more, like it's 95% work and 5% the glamour glitz that everybody sees and thinks I live this great life. I do live a great life, but there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. I'm up early at 6 o'clock. I'm working. I work 7 days a week. I mean, we're in a big growth period of our company right now. So there's like no rest for the wicked right now. So we're building our own network on top of the shows, and I've got 2 shows currently in production. So the Destination Divas for Travel Channel and the Dining Divas season 4 for WeTV, which is the restaurant show. So I'm the executive producer, so I have to edit with my partner, and we have to tell the storylines, and I have to do all the bookings, and I do the sales. I mean, now we've onboarded a sales team, part of our growth, but for the most part, that's what I've been doing, all of that, and social media and contracts and secretary and accountant. And but it's exciting time for our growth and to getting into the next chapter of the company after, a lot of hard work. So
Yeah. And so when you're filming an episode, we see, a 30-minute show, but that's obviously not the amount of time that you do the production. So when you pick a location and you're going to shoot an episode, talk about like the length of time and what all goes into that one episode that we get to see.
Oh yeah. So like for our travel show, I mean, gosh, we shoot like between all of the camera angles, it's like 120 hours of content to make 21 minutes.
Wow.
So it's pretty extensive, but I like very fast-paced, entertainment-driven educational content, because I feel like food and travel content can be very long, drawn out, and boring, and that is not what I'm trying to do. I want you guys to be super engaged. So we put a lot of time into each episode. I mean, it could take us months to finish one episode. They're mini movies, literally mini movies. So And then with the restaurant show, we can shoot anywhere from 6 to 12 hours in a day sometimes, to do one segment, which is like 10 minutes, so it's just it's a lot of work, but it's really nice when you see the finished product and you're like happy you went the extra mile to do all those extras to make it really, really entertaining for the viewer.
And how do you come up with what restaurant or what location? Like, what kind of process do you go through to figure out what's going to be the next place that you'll be filming at?
It's a lot of things. A lot of times it's synergies. Like somebody's like, "Hey, let's shoot here. I've got this really cool Airbnb," and we'll start with one thing, and then it just kind of like we build on it. So, like I got a call from one of the sponsors from New York when we filmed in New York, and she's like, "You want to film in Colombia?" She's like, "I have a coffee where I can take you to the coffee farms and we can get the government involved." And so next thing you know, we're filming in Colombia in December. So it's like, and then we start building on that and getting other brand partners and different, events that we can throw and restaurants to go to. So we start adding to something of substance.
Yeah. So is that part of the entertainment too? Is like the story behind the location that you're going to, right?
Absolutely. And it's like with the travel show, we tell a lot of fun facts about the location, like in between segments that kind of are very, very educational and interesting because you may not ever have heard of that before. And it's really about the storylines behind the people, the places, the culture, the history, all of those things combined.
Which is awesome because I have seen some food channels where, they sit down at the table and they talk about the food, but you're not there to experience it with them. So it kind of has a little bit of a disconnect. So I love the story aspect of it because then it draws you in and kind of hooks you to, oh, that might be somewhere I might want to visit someday, So I think that that's awesome with the story. So you recently did season 4, you guys just launched. What's in store? Or you could talk about, maybe where you filmed and why you filmed at the location that you just did, and then what's in store for the rest of the season.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a native, from Broward County, born and raised. And right now, the Sistrunk Boulevard is a big up and coming project for the city and for the county. It has a lot of history. So we're doing an episode about the history, the culture, and the rebuild of the historic Sistrunk Boulevard. They're dropping a lot of money into it. They just built the YMCA with the rooftop there. We filmed our first launch party at Smitty's, which is a wing joint, but it's owned by Senator Chris Smith. And he has a wall of history there that tells the entire story of, the Blacks and the segregation and like just how Sistrunk was such a very, very meaningful part of Fort Lauderdale history. And Dr. Sistrunk built the first hospital there for Blacks when they weren't allowed to go to the other hospitals. So like it's really culture driven. So we did it there. And then we have 2 more shoots for that same episode. We're going to be shooting at the new barber shop. There's a developer that owns a lot of blocks there, and he's building a lot of really cool creative spaces for people like us, and that they have a podcast studio that's super dope. We're filming at the Sistrunk Marketplace, which is like a melting pot of different cultures and foods and little pop-up places inside. Really, really cool place. They have like a brewery in there. And then we're filming, we're going to end it at the YMCA on the rooftop, which overlooks Sistrunk Boulevard as well as the whole downtown skyline, and it's gorgeous at sunset. So we're going to really showcase that Sistrunk is now a place you can bring your beautiful high-end events to, and just it's an up-and-coming spot, and we're really happy to tell that story.
Yeah, and so you're wearing green today, and obviously the podcast is Empower Her Money. Talk a little bit about the behind the scenes and how a TV show gets funded so that you can do what you're doing.
Oh, well, that's a fun one. So there's a lot of ways to, I guess they call skin the cat, even though I'm a cat lady, I probably shouldn't use that phrase, but there's a lot of ways. So me personally, I'm a sponsorship driven show. So it does take sponsorships in order for us to drive these storylines and drive these opportunities for the locations and the brands. And mainly because I want to own my own IP. Like for me, it's very, very important because I'm building my own network. So even though I'm on Travel Channel, on WeTV, I've been on CW, we're going on AMC, like we have all these partnerships, they don't own my IP, I do. So I have to raise my own money, put together my own shows. And yes, it's a lot more work, but I own the show after it airs. And now that means I can take that show and put it on my network. And for me, content is king, and it's more valuable and makes a lot more money. And if you try to sell a show to a network, especially after COVID, because things have completely changed in our industry after COVID. But if you try to sell a show to a network, number one, you probably will never sell it. It's almost nearly impossible. There's this weird algorithm programming that they do where if you look like me or even close to me or even have a show that is not even the same show, but anywhere in the vicinity of somewhat could be considered similar, like it could be the Housewives versus Dining Divas. Housewives is a drama show about rich women and Dining Divas about food and travel, but they won't put both of us on the same network because it's two groups of women. It's like the weirdest stuff that they do in TV. And there's only 24 hours in a day and 7 days in a week. So there's only so many slots to fill. And now obviously with streaming that's changed, but this is how it used to work. So it was really difficult. But if you did sell it and you did get on TV, you got paid minimal, I mean minimal for your IP, and they own it. And then if they decided to pull it next season, you can never do it again. So it was big about, I wanted to own my own brand. And I also am building a product line out of this, which is kind of like how Housewives and Skinny Girl, even though they weren't together, but the one came out of the other, we are together. We're building our own internal brand. So, that's how Duck Dynasty became $1 billion brand. So that is our ultimate goal. So we work really hard to raise sponsor dollars to own our own IP.
Well, if Dining Divas ever comes out with a heel, let me know. I will wear it proudly everywhere.
It's coming, baby. It's coming.
Yeah. So what do you see in the future for you as you're building out? You said you're in growth mode. What else is in the future for you?
A lot of new shows are going to be coming on the network as we grow. So a lot of original IP shows that we own, and then a lot of third party shows that really should be on Travel Channel or Food Network, but they can't get the opportunity to get on there or raise the dollars to get on there. There's a lot of really creative, awesome people out there doing such cool things with food and travel, and they're just the YouTube thing. Some of them are on YouTube, but when you get that opportunity to be on a really big network, there's a notoriety that comes with it versus doing just an Instagram show or something like that. So we're really like seeking out right now like those really awesome third party shows that are making moves in the industry, and we're gonna put them on our channel. So
is there anything specifically that you look for when you're thinking about bringing another show or another brand to yours?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they're going to own their own IP, but we are going to help support them in bringing in sponsorships for their shows, driving viewership to their shows, and just all the different things that they need the support of a network to do. So, we are looking for very unique, one-of-a-kind individuals and show ideas, and mostly a lot of them, they already have some episodes that they've shot and edited, so they already have their idea of how it's going to go together. And I've already been able to watch or see it and say, okay, this is, if I have to start from scratch, that gets a little bit different than versus somebody already having a few things on the table. Cause so I can be like, okay, this format works, or we just need to change a few things and then we can work with that. So, someone who's already semi-established or at least has something to show, and a logo and a concept is really great. And travel, lifestyle, and food is where we're at. So, like, for instance, I have a Michelin star chef that cooks with cannabis. So that's pretty cool because it's super high end, but then it's like kind of taboo. And then he's been on tons of national TV already. So he's got a lot of experience and he's got a name and a reputation. And then he's also shot a few episodes of his show he wants to do. So we're already kind of like working on that. That's just like one example of many.
Yeah. Collaboration is key.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right. So if someone actually wanted to start their own TV show, any advice besides don't do it?
It depends on what you're trying to do. And, it's really, collaboration is key. And, I've been in this industry for a long time. So I've built a lot of great relationships that allow me to be able to do things at better cost and better opportunities than maybe someone who has no experience in my industry. Mm-hmm. So, it's really that's a hard question. I guess it depends what you're trying to do. I mean, if you can go out and grab an investor right off rip, if you're really good at putting together a deck and stuff like that, and those are great ways to go. There's just so many ways to do it nowadays. That's a hard one.
Yeah. And I can imagine too the the pitches too, like doing that to a network when nobody knows who you are, it would be, like 0.5% of possibility for somebody.
Yeah. It's hard to even get in front of them sometimes, too. It's very, there's gatekeepers for networks, and you have to go through them. You can't get to directly to the network, and there's just a lot of things that go into that whole realm. So.
Yeah. So any memories that stick out, like when you've been visiting perhaps another country, anything that kind of sticks out that was so different or unexpected for you versus, here in the United States?
Um, no, yeah, I mean, we haven't filmed outside yet. We're filming in Colombia coming up. We're filming in Mexico coming up. We've filmed mostly in the United States. We did California, Utah, and New York. And then obviously we've done our regular show here in Florida a lot, for several seasons. So, I mean, I've been to Dubai, I've been to we filmed in St. Lucia. That was really interesting. That was special. That was a very special event because we stayed at a hotel that was very eclectic to the location. It wasn't like a Hilton, and it was built into the side of the mountain, and that was special. Like, I mean, I was exhausted going up and down those stairs. I mean, literally, I'm in shape, and I had to stop every day halfway up the stairs and go before I could go, and end up with a full face of makeup on, and I'm drenched of sweat. But it was so worth it because it was just the most spectacular view that it was worth all of it, and it was such a gorgeous hotel. So that, it's always, I like to, even inside the United States, there's so many cool things to see and so many different, you don't even know what's in your own backyard. So we really get to see a lot of fun and cool things.
Yeah. And then promote that to other people so they have ideas for where they might want to vacation next.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So I have a fun question for you.
Okay.
If you could pick a superpower, what would it be and why?
I would want to fly because I used to have these dreams like all the time that I would run really fast and I would just fly. Sometimes they were scary. I was running away from somebody and flying, like it was like scary. Sometimes it was just like soaring and just enjoying the view. And I think I would just I just think flying is really powerful, like to be able to see everything from a bird's eye view and to be able to to get around fast like that is pretty cool.
Yeah. And I think from a business perspective, to see everything from a bird's eye view, that's what you have to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Yeah.
analogy. All right. So what do you have coming up that perhaps our audience can join?
Yeah, well, right now we're really heavy on this Napoleon Hill Mastermind cruise. Would love to see some like-minded entrepreneurs out there with us. Like I said, we did it last year in St. Lucia. It was very powerful. It was life-changing for all the attendees. We made lifelong friends, business deals, just so much came out of it. And this year we're doing it even bigger because we partnered now with Epic Talks and Napoleon Hill Institute and Dining Divas, and we're doing it for Travel Channel. Last year we did it for WeTV. So it's much bigger production, much bigger events, and we're really excited to go to Mexico on celebrity cruises. So if you're interested in going, I'm happy to take one-on-one Zoom calls, talk about what's important for you, and get you signed up to be part of it.
And how do they reach you?
You can find me anywhere online. No, you can email me at ChristineCurranTV at gmail.com or contact@diningempire.com. You can find me on social media, Christine Curran, Dining Divas TV, any of those, and send me a message, Facebook, Instagram, whatever works for you.
Awesome.
I'm easily found.
Yes, I appreciate and you actually check your messages, which I know because that's how I reached out to you. Well, I appreciate your time today and super excited for your cruise coming up and all that is in front of you. You're just doing amazing things, and just promoting people is just a gift, but you are doing it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
And that wraps up another episode of Empower Her Money podcast. Make sure you reach out to Christine to join the cruise. It is going to be amazing, and I am so grateful that you were on the show today. Thank you.
Thank you, honey. Have a good one.
Are you a business owner looking to increase your profit? Imagine transforming every podcast guest appearance to profit. It's your turn to shine as a podcast guest. I have created a course just for you. It's the secret to profiting from podcasting and being a guest. Go to podcastmoneymagnet.com today and check out this incredible course that's going to teach you how to grow your brand and grow your bank account. Feel the shift as you master being a podcast guest. Podcastmoneymagnet.com today.